In this video, we're going to talk about Twitter. Twitter is absolutely exploding and becoming a major success and is arguably one of the fastest growing social media platforms around. Twitter is the most recommended social media site there is. This would be the one social media site to use in your marketing efforts. Twitter is a site that you hear everybody talking about. Every time you turn around, you hear somebody talking about Twitter. You hear even about Twitter on the national news, for instance. You hear about Twitter on the radio, in the newspaper. Twitter is one of the most popular social media platforms. It's recommended by everybody, even elderly to younger people. Everybody is now getting a Twitter account. And so Twitter is absolutely exploding, and so you need to be involved with Twitter. And if you're not, you're really losing out on a great way to get some targeted, interested traffic to your website. Everyone out there seems to have a Twitter account. It just seems like everybody from young to old to middle aged to middle class to wealthy to not wealthy to famous. You see some of the most famous actors and actresses and singers and songwriters and everything have Twitter accounts. It seems like nearly everybody, even the president, has a Twitter account. Everyone is using Twitter, and it's time that you got on there. And if you are on there, at least this video should help you understand how to leverage Twitter so you can grow your business. Twitter can be very confusing at first. When you first get there, a lot of times you wonder, well, what do I do here? What do these functions do for me, and how can I use them? And you really don't want to worry though, because it's very simple. It's a very simple platform for you to master. Once you get in there and start using it just a few times, the learning curve is very, very minimal, and you can quickly start using Twitter over and over and over. First, it is important to learn how it works before you can harness the full power of it. Some terms you should know, though, related to Twitter include Tweeple, which stands for Twitter users. So if you hear people saying the word Tweeple around there, then that is referring to Twitter users. A tweet is oftentimes what you hear when you hear people talking about Twitter, and that's just been a phrase that's coined meaning a message sent on Twitter. So every time you make a post on Twitter or somebody else makes a post on Twitter, that's referred to as a tweet sometimes. And then oftentimes when you're in Twitter, you'll hear people talk about a DM or I sent you a DM. That just basically means direct message. And it's a tweet sent directly to a particular user. And it's typically a private message that only you can access when you log into your account, or only they could access it if you send it to somebody. So direct messages aren't meant to be public. And so that is what DM stands for, direct message. The first thing you need to do is visit www.twitter.com so you can get started. And you want to create a free account. And when choosing your name, it can be either a real name, a website name, a business name, or even a niche specific account name. And it's all going to depend on what your sole purpose is on Twitter. And I know of people that have multiple Twitter accounts as well for different niche markets. But in your case, it's really going to depend on what your purposes are. Is it to brand your business name? Is it to brand your website name? Is it to brand who you are as an expert in your field? It all depends on what your purposes are on Twitter. And you could even use a niche specific account name. I've seen a lot of people use things like weight loss tips for their Twitter account name. So it depends on how you want to do that. I would tread lightly when doing that though. The core focus is you want to try to brand your name or either your website or business name as the authority, as the username on that Twitter account. So keep that in mind when you're creating that you do need to understand that. The next thing you want to do is upload an avatar, and this is very important. An avatar is basically a picture of something. So it could be a picture of who you are, a picture of you. It could be a family picture. It could be anything from, maybe it's an ebook cover that you have, or maybe it's your logo, your company logo. Make sure that you're using an avatar of some sort, because it's very important to people when they code to start following you. If they don't see a picture, it's hard for them to relate to who you are. So you want to make sure that you are using some sort of an avatar. So you can use any kind of picture for the avatar, and it can be a picture of you that will do the best, but at least have something there. Even if you don't want to use a picture of yourself, make sure you have a picture of something there. The next thing you want to do after you've set up your Twitter account and you've logged in is you want to start following people. So you could start with people you know. That's obviously a very quick way to start is go on there, find friends you know, people you know, and start following them because they're going to start following you back. The next thing you want to do is also look into following other marketers within your niche market. So look for some of the bigger names that you get emails from in your niche market. The niche market that you're trying to promote to. Oftentimes you are on newsletters. If you're in the weight loss niche, you're going to oftentimes be on other weight loss newsletters so you can see what the market's about. Look up those people, those marketers in the various niches. In the internet marketing niche, look for the people you're getting emails from because they will typically follow you back, and then you are going to find a whole lot of other people of their followers, the marketers' followers, that are interested in that topic. So you could start going through and following those people individually. You can also search for people based on keywords. You can do this by going to search.twitter.com and then you can just type in the keyword phrase that you're trying to go after. Whatever your niche is, you can type that into that area and potentially find people related to that word. And you could also use the find people function. And the find people function basically allows you to find people that are using that keyword phrase that you plug in there as part of their name. And so you could find some very targeted people that way. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you can follow people that are following popular people in your niche. So oftentimes you will find that people are very interested in one internet marketer in particular. And so you know that since they're interested in that person, they are overall interested in internet marketing. And a lot of times these guys will have, there will be 10,000 followers for some internet marketers plus. And so you can go in there and start following every one of those 10,000 people if you wanted to and start following them. Obviously you're limited by how many people you can follow at once when you first set up your account, but you can go in there and the more people you can start following in your niche, the better off overall you're going to be with your Twitter account. Most people you follow will end up following you back. They oftentimes have automatic follow-ups or they just want to follow you back because they want to also, have an increased Twitter following. It helps build up their authority if they have a larger Twitter following. Another step to getting new followers is to offer a free report for all new followers and ask them to retweet the message. And a retweet is basically by saying, please retweet. And a retweet is basically somebody just repeating something that you've tweeted or typed out there on Twitter. That's all a retweet is. Make sure again that you have an avatar and updates on your Twitter account. And that's going to be huge. And when I say updates, that means tweets that you have made. So after you've set up your account and after you start, when you start following people, make sure that you've uploaded a picture so you have an avatar, and then make sure that you've made at least a couple different tweets because that shows that your account is active and that's going to get more people to start potentially following you. No one wants to follow anyone who has no tweets, so start tweeting even if you have very few followers. Even if you have one follower or no followers, start making some sort of tweets out there, even if it's very minimal. Just start making some tweets. Once you have several people following you, start interacting with them. So ask them, how they're doing and just interact with them. It's best to use Twitter to both market and socialize. There's a good mixture between both. You want to have a balance. So you don't want to go on Twitter and just post a lot of links to your site. That's not going to help you. And you also don't want to go on Twitter just to socialize because you're there because you want to build traffic and build targeted traffic. So you can go on there and socialize and say what you've been doing during the day, ask questions, just do different things like that to get people interested in what you have to say. Your followers will then see you as a real person that way. And if they see you as a real person, there's a better chance that they're going to go and click on your different advertisements. You want to also make tweets about what is going on in your life because that's very important. You want to also ask questions to your followers. And then you can also respond to tweets that your followers have made. So if your followers have made, different tweets saying, "Hey, I've had a rough day," or I had a great time with my family. You could respond to them and hey, respond to them and say, hey, I'm glad you had a good time with your family. You could go out there and ask your followers, hey, what do you think of this blog post I made? Or hey, how's your day going? Or what's the weather like where you are? Is it hot? When's your vacation coming up? All that, whatever you want to ask them. Try to interact with them. And try to again make tweets about what is going on in your life because they're again going to relate to you and see you as a real person. And then just make sure you're there asking people how they are, build a relationship with them, respond to them. If they tell you how you are, respond back to them, and work on building relationships. Basically, show an interest in your followers. If you show an interest in them, they're going to show an interest back to you, and that's going to help you. You'll soon be making new friends who will then be willing to visit your website. Once you have people interested in you, then they're going to start visiting your website. And it's all a numbers game. So the more followers you have, the more clicks you can get. So the more people you can be following and that you go out there and follow, the more people that will be following you back. And so therefore, if you have 2,000 followers as opposed to 500 followers, you're going to get more clicks with the 2,000 followers. So it's all a complete numbers game. Whenever you add a new blog post, you should also tweet about it. That's some great ways to market about it. So when you blog something, say, hey, check out my new blog post. I think you'll like it. When you add new products, or maybe you launch a new digital product, or you have a special deal running, or maybe you have an opportunity for people to become affiliates for you, you should Twitter about it. Everyone logs onto Twitter at different times. So if you have something important that you want people to see, you may want to end up retweeting and updating message, and updating the message 3 or 4 times per day. So that means at different times you should retweet the same message, send out the same message yourself about your new blog post update, about maybe a joint venture opportunity, whatever it is, to ensure that all of your followers see it potentially, because people log on at different times. So if you send out a Twitter post in the morning, not everybody logs on in the morning. So then if you wait until the evening to send it out, more and more people will go ahead and might see it. And then if you send it out in the middle of the day, another set of people or another set of your followers may end up seeing it. So make sure you're changing that up. And you can also use Twitter to find service work as well. So you could do things like tweet, need a web designer. I have great services and offer. Need search engine optimization help. Need link building help. Need articles written. I can do that for you. Send me a DM. And you might get some people sending you direct messages about that. You can reply publicly to people by using the @ username and making your tweet so they will see it. By doing that, it helps you, if even if it's a bigger name marketer, they will oftentimes see the replies. So you could go out there and say, at so and so, what do you think of this? And @ would be their username, so it's the @ symbol and their username, and then ask them a question, comment, say, hey, that's funny, a funny story, whatever it is. That's a great way you can interact to people in a public way. In your account, you can also click on the @ replies once you're logged in, and that's going to be on the right hand side. And you can do this to view people that have replied to you. And you'll also be able to check direct messages from there as well. And Twitter really it's an extremely powerful social media marketing tool for you to use and for you to leverage for your business.